Before we start, I just want to acknowledge that we're standing on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to any Indigenous people who are here today. Daniel Ward is going to start. Dan runs Line Podcast with Ruben Stoney, right?
Nailed it.
Yeah. And...
Go on. Shall I?
Yeah.
Ben Sandy.
And also as a musician and a fantastic poet. And yeah.
Brad. I'm going to start by reading a poem by Kate Lilly. Kate Lilly, an Australian poet. She's real cool. She's a lesbian, so that's good.
One way penetrate.
Yeah. Still a bit of ring. This is part of a series, but I'm just jumping straight in at number 3 here. Sounds quaint, but in those days, it was called sexual intercourse. Always a heat wave. That's as close as it gets to a primal scene. The feeling of trying to step up, to join the human race. That's all. I wrote all new poems except one old one. So they're all a bit drafty, but I feel like that's in the style of this place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Some people truly cannot. Some people truly cannot conceive. Some people truly cannot conceive the difference between an inside-out sock and an outside-out sock. This, amongst many things, makes me want to love big. Really love big. Big. Love big. And then we are contemplating what a pet can mean. Seems unfair, but maybe worth our time, as in, what does dependence mean? And what value judgments have we imposed on these depends? Well, it depends. And how much do they matter when we are frightened to burden someone? Independence bred stubbornness, bread, eating bread with 2 hands. And so we have no hands left. But we only ever talk about the bread. Nobody's talking about the hands. Beer break. This also has a title. It's a number and part of a series, and you're getting it out of context, but that's alright. 5. That's so arbitrary to even just say 5. I should have just read the poem. Like, what does that give you? Nothing. Fucking nothing. I am going. Keep going. Keep trying. Okay. You and I were really good at meeting new people. Told about the things well, spoke well together, the public speaking kind. With others I drank more, with you I drank patiently or restrained, which meant we always got the most drunk. Weren't chasing something. Pulled up to it and things usually got heated. The way you do everything is so informed, I can hear you say goodbye to the controls and I know you don't want to say it out loud, but you say it and I love it. And some walk fast. The kind of words you can only write for a stringed instrument, as in a man walking unconcerned, fast, between, through the whole intersection. Somehow, so saved, familiar to, and automatic, and sure. How long do you watch a bike before you think you can take it? I didn't think you could, and then all I wanted to do was grab the drum, steady and directed towards the chest. The kind of uneasy proud where you may accept and simply juggle it all on the tips of your accelerant. You were revisiting a city you love. what it means when right there next to the newspaper, a human shit rides the subway. What it is to mean doing the crossword, carrying an overnight bag, riding the tube, taking the rail, seated politely, comfortably, silently, a shit. What it means when nobody turns in confusion or disgust or will clean it. The shit takes the M train from Manhattan, jumps off at Flushing Avenue, heads to work. What it means to smell less than it simply means less seats for the fellow traveller. Because it too needs a seat and someone sits next to it, asks for the sports section of the shit's paper and thanks it and reads and it nods and the world does the thing of continuing. And maybe what it means is fear of lack, or fear to face a lack of others. And maybe what it is meaning is there are no public toilets in this city unless you buy a coffee, unless you buy time. And when you do, you take the code and you enter and there you shit and you have a moment of peace, or you go home and there may be peace. And if there is not peace, or if there is no home, then you shit neatly on the train, on the seat 2 to the left of the door, and it rides the morning run until the sun sets orange and glows between the bridge metal of the Brooklyn and fades into the night, where you sleep and wake and ride again, the big metal. And this is known as a tired country now. Okay, 2 more? Yep. I hear from you, new things. In the night you whisper that things really are looking up. And in the morning you pull your t-shirt out of your jumper, which is actually my jumper, and slip it on to open the blinds to the sun and the street. And when you reach for the broken cord, your morning ass peeks out from the grey cotton, and you turn and smile. And in the morning I understand what you mean in the night. And in the night we suck at the it. The woman of each other does things for new time as every time. But this feels more. Something pulls us over, like sobriety. Love is sober. Love is not drunk, nor can we be drunk on it. Kind of wakes you up, becomes more human, makes something unknown easier, and then becomes a kind of withdrawal. Itself, elastic, simply, really simply. It is thinking about what another person is doing when they are not in front of you. This last one was a piece I written.
You did.
I did, and I did good for an exhibition that Ellie Halliburton and Steph Holzer had at Blindside recently. It was a response to the work. It's called "I Will Not Answer What It Means to Bleed," and it starts with a quote from the artist. Oxidizing, a process where the vessel surrenders itself to the same element that enabled it to perform. Matter gains a corporeal sensitivity when it exists in a constant state of flux. At a distance, for most eyes, red will be the hardest color to see. And red is pain as green is, or blue. And pink was a gavel and a belt. Now it's a fuck you. Now it's a vested interest. Now it's something to invest in. You can make money off pink, which is red. Pink doesn't exist except as distant red. Informal pain, and slightly harder to see. A light pink wound can be learning, the sure incision of yes, growing in the thick bile of yes. Yes is relief, and so is pink. And pink is inside, and sometimes it is outside the body, or on top of it, or sewn in, or taken in a pill to invert reality. Or it is injected or carried by charisma or lack thereof. The body does as it is done upon, and this is what power may be. A conversation on control, like helium, fills a room and is unnoticed, unless ignited or startled. Or if we speak too close, we may hear the rearranging of power, the tightening of aluminium. Where solidifying becomes a choice, to surrender oneself means to listen, which is to engage in power. A dress fitting of control, a daily exercise in what is solid, and then a memory remains. When control is burnt, or pressurized or current. Maybe it becomes frightening or alluring. It looks like time, feels motivating or motor, and that's all you can see or do. And you do not take your shoes off to enter, you drink at the burial like most do, and close your eyes for a while to think, and you watch pink, which is now volcanic, wet, molten in the pool. And I hope that you are jealous, that some have found an invisible rhythm like gas, and you or we have no idea what is coming. And that will often fill a room and may offer some relief. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next we have Gareth Gareth writes poems that are great and sometimes very funny, which I really appreciate. So yeah.
Thanks, Gareth.
And also Gareth runs sick leave.
Thanks so much for having me. This place is great. I love it. I've only been once maybe, but I intend to be here always. It's cool. Yeah, this poem's called Walking. It's good to be walking. Streets are for this, and aptly named Pilgrim, as if we could. So I go down the chill dark and don't sniffle. Nice to cats. They later stab at birds. I don't know. What's spirituality got to do with pizza? There you go. Turns out everything. Content nausea, bossing, the radio on imaginary, or the not enough. Can you cook lavash? Yeah. Thing is, it can't be bad. I read the Caravaggio book for clues. Slow realizations. I'd like to know people better. We do over beer and biscuits. We joke red cheek and sovereign, like Caravaggio did as a mode. Naughty. Like so much Chianti and this, we have breakthroughs. Foresting in a week or two. Stony Creek backwash never fails to surprise, but I put off visiting the Pink Lake. I always put it off. Unfolding is a forever thing. Things are brill. I come up epic. So much I pass. A memorial. And I think of myself. Who understands telegraph poles? This morning, wet-faced by the warmies, the fish are sporadic and constant. It's always warm men who love the local. Shall I bring myself into that, becoming like a bowls club? When emerging onto Douglas, I walk out in front of a car, and it's my mum. She's driving to work. She texts me, "Love the purple beanie." This is divine, right? The world is my oyster. The oyster is my dipping sauce. I went for a long walk and I walked in front of a car and it was my mum. And it was like 7 a.m. That's cool. This is another walking poem. It's good to be walking past a new tree, even if it's just that I collect myself. My little wisdom. I pin it to the tree's cut branch and commemorate dead appendages with a little sparkle. It makes or breaks, like teeth. I've grown to distrust kilometrico pens and computer games generally. So long and boring. I hate novels. I back poetry like a racehorse in its own expensive paddock. You express the idea obliquely. Love wins. You run a hot bath. Sometimes you've just got to let it all out. Jogging, logging, but wish lifting weights was my jam. Then imagine how I could open doors. I'm very prominent to myself. Have I earned that? Probably not. The capsicums are good and cheap on the street corner. I was just enough in the pocket to nab, and I cherish them good. While burning bridges burn, I go to bathe in the fake woods like a painter. I've never read these poems before, so thanks for listening. This one is, I think it doesn't have a title, and that's important. The street's tabernacle knuckles the skateboarders. His tavern carbuncles the watershed with its men. Fake boulders hold hands in a green circle at twilight. Stakeholders careen and shuck into motion sickness. Sweet marshals create Porsches and form bread knots. Maureen and Co. sweep dishes into these endless vigils. Sleep well, my dove, on the beach, but she'll wake angry. Cranky. Caress the tarot card reading oak scored tortoiseshell. Or kill brilliant seeds and sneak over tapioca bridges. Trap core ideas in a mollusk and trash does buckle over. Torpid memory of Isaac balloons and grows forlornly. Ushered molecules in a stairwell of hearty soup for one. Be sweaty and midges harangue the borscht and lottery. Brash citizenry corrals New England by Ukrainian night. I don't know what that poem is about, but it's got words in it. And that's probably what it's about. I might read just one more. This one's called For the Girls. She's a tiny bit younger, like yeah, we know, and silly with her. I get back and name slide. What is true success, honey hair? Autumn leaves a beacon, cowbunga on the 223. It was the best fun, truffle breakfast. You tailor a suit for punk Met Gala. Cringe gets unilateral. And squats, squats, squats. We go inside cheering the slippery dip. Girl poets everywhere, I'll try imitate. There is a broad spectrum where you did sophisticate. Don't the bins move? What we talk about when we talk about prudence, or the carnival of the impossible. Trees are aquariums, dope. Bluette singing voice, a facade. This one's finally not for the boys. Everything you do is a balloon. Highlight lyrics to add meaning. You have a body, you might as well use it. And by use it, I mean dump it here in the poem. Poetry's plates are vogue and exotic. We could twin into joy. There are puppies, yeah? That's it, thank you.
Thanks, Gareth. That was awesome. Maybe toilet break. Yeah, maybe we'll have a good toilet break. So this is Kirby, everybody.
Oh yeah.
Who needs no introduction?
I don't think it's a good idea.
Kirby's in a band called Bodies. Kirby is a performance artist. Kirby also writes a lot in their practice. And the writing feeds the movement, and the movement feeds the video and the thing.
Kirby's a great dancer.
The thing into the thing into the thing into the thing, and then
Kirby's a dancer in denial.
Yeah.
I'm only happy when I'm sad. I'm only happy when I'm mad. It's hard to stay the same. You're not the one to blame. It's real hard to tell you things about me, 'cause I'm not sure what they are.
And in my dreams you tell me that you love me, but I don't feel the same. It's real hard to tell you. 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 Don't just wish it never happened. For real, for real, for real, for Okay, I won't do any more. That's pretty annoying. Thanks for letting me try that out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kirby.
Thanks.
Did you say that was meant to be funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fucking psycho.
I was trying to give it a humorous twist. Like, 'cause it's really sad.
It was very cute, like the
Yeah.
movements.
Don't
But,
shout.
like, it was cute. It was a bit show tuning.
Yeah.
This
But
is
not-
a print.
I didn't
This is a
laugh.
print.
Oh, it's
print.
It's not. Oh, I love
It's helping you.
No one's allowed.
See what I said?
10 or so minutes.
No, thank you. Yeah, I hope that wasn't too loud.
That was great. It was perfect loud.
I would really resent it if it wasn't loud.
Yeah.
It wasn't quieter, rather. It was, God, fuck language.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I